Hi everybody, Miss Bozek here with your Lesson 7 vocab video. Today's lesson is about separation. For this lesson, you're going to need your root card, whichever materials you've chosen for your vocab strategy, and you can follow along in page 42 of your workbook. Remember, you have 4 different options for your vocab strategies. You can do note cards, vocabulary connections, vocab visuals, or word pyramids. Whichever one you choose, make sure you're following the correct format and filling it out completely so you can get full credit. The first root we're going to learn today is ab. Ab means away from. Please add the definition of ab to your root card. And again, we are in lesson 7. Just a reminder, you can pause the video at any time if you need more time to complete any given task. Also, the quiz that's going to be coming up will be over lessons 5, 6, and 7, including all the roots that you have written on this card so far from the beginning of the year. We have 11 words that we're going to learn today, 5 of which use the root ab. The first word is abrasive. Abrasive is an adjective, which means it's a describing word, and it means harsh or rough. Don't forget to add this word to your vocab strategy. I'm going to share 2 sentences with you that use this word, but in different ways. The sentence on the screen says, while unintentional, Jacqueline had an abrasive personality that made her seem rude. In this example, abrasive is being used to describe someone's personality as being harsh or rough. However, if you look at the sentence in your book, it says, the abrasive texture of the sandpaper smooths the surface of wood. In this example, it's describing not a personality trait, but an actual object, sandpaper. So it can be used to describe many different things. The second word that uses ab is abound. Abound is a verb, and it means to exist in great quantities or numbers, or to be fully supplied or filled. The sentence on the screen says, on certain days, students may feel that homework abounds here at CHMS, meaning that there is a large quantity of homework. You can see in the picture in the upper right-hand corner, this lake is abounding with fish. There are tons of fish jumping out of the water. The sentence in your book reads, although in the 19th century buffalo herds abounded on the Great Plains, very few are roaming the range today. The next word that uses ab is abscond. Abscond is also a verb, and it means to leave quickly and secretly and hide oneself. As soon as Billy turned his back, Kelly absconded to the safety of the tree, which is shown in the picture in the upper right-hand corner. There are a lot of words in this lesson that are very similar. They sound the same. All of these ab words, it's kind of tricky to keep track of all these definitions. So you might need to come up with some creative ways to remember what they all mean. The next word that uses ab is abhor. Abhor is a verb, and it means to detest thoroughly or to hate. After losing to his brother in the contest, Carl abhorred going to the beach with his family. The sentence from the book reads, to show that they abhor the slaughter of whales, the protesters blocked the paths of the whaling vessels. Our fifth and final word that uses ab as a root is abstemious. Abstemious is a describing word. It's an adjective, and it means sparing or moderate, especially when eating or drinking, which is what this picture shows in the lower right-hand corner. In order to make weight for his match, Jamie had to adopt an abstemious diet. On a long sea voyage in a small craft with limited food supplies, the crew must be abstemious. Don't forget to add this word to your vocab strategy. One way that at least I think of to help me remember the definition of this word, it's kind of silly, but the word stem is in abstemious, and I think about the stems of broccoli and how if you were being really sparing or really moderate with your eating, you might only eat the stems. So if that helps you, maybe you can use that to remember this one. We're moving on to our next root, which is surno. Cerno means to sift or to decide. And the picture on the left shows sifting, which is something that's done sometimes with cooking. And then the picture on the right there shows a decision. So maybe those images will help you a little bit with this one. Again, this is lesson 7. The first word that uses this root is discrete. Now, there are 2 different spellings for discrete, but the one that you need to know is written here on the screen. It's D-I-S-C-R-E-E-T. So make sure you're spelling that correctly. It's an adjective, and this word discreet means showing tact, respect, and restraint in speech and behavior. So the picture shows our dog is discreet when it comes to waiting for the okay to eat his snack. He shows restraint. He shows respect. The next word that uses this root is ascertain. Ascertain is a verb, and it means to find something out for certain. So hopefully you can kind of see the connection there. When the sub left a conflicting report, the teacher had to ascertain what actually happened, had to figure out for certain what happened when they weren't there. The handwriting expert ascertained that a diary supposedly written by Hitler was a forgery. It was fake. Don't forget to add this word to your vocab strategy. The final word, word 8, that uses cerno as a root is discern. Discern is also a verb, and it means to perceive or to detect differences. It was tough to discern who was telling the truth about the cheating and who was lying. You may be noticing that some of these definitions are kind of similar, or some of these words mean almost the same thing. So make sure you're writing down the definitions exactly and you're remembering the differences between these words. Another sentence for discern. Through the sophisticated telescope at the observatory, astronomers can discern stars millions of light years away. We have 1 more root and 3 more words. Your final root for lesson 7 is frango, and it means to break. A way that I like to remember this root is if you look at the last version of the root, it's fractum. And I think about how if you fracture a bone, you break a bone. So that's sort of a trick that I've used to help remember the definition for this one. Make sure you add it to your root card. The first word that uses frango as a root is infraction. Infraction is a noun, and it's a violation of a law. So jumping from table to table in the lunchroom is a serious infraction. Crossing against a red light is a more serious infraction for a driver than for a pedestrian. And of course, texting while driving is also an infraction of the law. So don't forget to add this word to your vocab strategy before moving on to our next word, which is infringe. Infringe is a verb. It means to go beyond set limits, and it's usually used with on or upon, as is shown in the sentence here. Often, my little brother infringes on my personal space. And you can see in the picture in the lower right-hand corner, this plane passenger is infringing upon the other passenger's personal space. Another sentence, as seen in your book, as computers store more and more personal data, citizens may worry that they infringe upon an individual's privacy. Your next word is suffrage. Suffrage is a word that you've probably heard in social studies class. It's a noun, and it means the right to vote. So if you've heard of women's suffrage, that was when women were granted the right to vote. The 19th Amendment gave suffrage to women in the United States. And again, this word is a noun, so this might help you when you're trying to fill in the blanks of a sentence, for example, looking to make sure that it's functioning as a noun in the sentence. Those are all the words for and roots for lesson 7. Make sure that you have your vocab strategy entirely filled out. There are also practice questions in your book if you'd like a little bit more practice with these words, starting on page 45. Thanks for listening.